School bus pre-trip inspection on an international 84-passenger rear-engine transit.
We're going to do your school bus pre-trip today. Now this is for the state of Ohio. So I want you to designate what items that you're going to talk about. I want you to point to them, and then I want you to give me 2 specific reasons what would take that item out of service.
Okay.
Now you've got 30 minutes to complete this test. Whenever you feel comfortable, you can start.
Okay. I have my amber clearance lights, my amber warning lights, my red loading lights, my amber turn signals and hazard lights, my headlamps high and low beam. They're clear. The amber turn signals and hazards are amber. They're the proper color, not cracked or broken, loose or missing, and they are properly secured. My bus is not leaning to the left or to the right, and there are no puddles of any kind. There's no damage to the bus, and there are no obstructions around the bus. I'm going to check my mirror brackets, that they are all bolted and mounted securely, not cracked or broken, loose or missing, and the mirrors themselves are clean and clear on both sides. They're both good. Okay. Come down here. I'm going to check out my door. My door, the seal is in place. It's not cracked or broken, loose or missing. The glass is in place, not cracked or broken, loose or missing. And you'll see in a moment that it's working properly. My hand grab rails are bolted and mounted securely, not cracked or broken, loose or missing. The step tread is not lifted to pose a tripping hazard. It's in place and bolted down tightly, not cracked or broken, loose or missing. My step lights, inner and outer, are clear. They're not cracked or broken, loose or missing, and you'll see later that they're functioning properly. I have my sticker from the state that is up to date. My reflectors and reflective tape are in place. The reflectors are amber before the duals and red after. My turn signals and hazard lights are amber, and you'll see later that they're functioning properly. My clearance lights down the side are amber before the duals and red after. My fuel tank is right here. The cap, neck, and cage are in place, not cracked or broken, loose or missing. The door functions. If I look under here, there's no puddles and leaking of any kind. Okay, I've got 2 storage containers. The latches are all good. My windows are intact and fine. I'm going to also look at my front tire. My front tire has 4/32 evenly worn all the way across. The face of my tire has no abrasions, bulges, or cuts. The rim of my tire has no welds other than factory. It's not cracked or broken, loose or missing. My lug nuts are in place. All of them are in place and tight. If one was loose, we might see a rust trail or a shiny pattern. This is my hub oil seal. All the bolts are in place and tight. Nothing's loose, cracked, missing, or leaking. And this fluid level is adequate. The valve stem is straight centered, has a metal cap, and if I were to check the tire pressure, I would use a tire pressure gauge. It's also not leaking. There are no abrasions, bulges, or cuts on the face of my tire. The mud flap is in place and secure, not cracked or broken, loose, or missing. I'm going to take a look at my front and rear spring mounts. They are bolted securely. The bolt bushings not cracked or broken, loose, or missing. My torque leaf and spring leaf are not shifted, cracked, or broken. They're not loose or missing. This is my U-bolt. It's in place, bolted securely, not cracked or broken, loose or missing. And let's see, I've got my brake chamber, which is clamped securely. It's not cracked or broken, loose or missing, and it's not leaking. Attached securely to that are the ABS line and the brake line. They're not cracked or broken, loose or missing. They are attached securely. They're not leaking. I'm going to come down to my push rod and my slack adjuster. They're not cracked or broken, loose or missing. If I were to tug on it, it would not move more than 1 inch. Okay, if I removed this dust cover back here, I would see that the brake linings are not worn dangerously thin, and that the brake drum itself has no grease, oil, holes, dents, or debris. Okay, let's see. I'm looking for my shock absorber back here. Shock absorber, it's right here. Not cracked or broken, loose or missing. It's got both top and bottom, and it's not leaking. Okay. I'm going to look under the bus. It's much harder to see. We've got our frame and cross members, not cracked or broken, loose or missing, and they're all in place. And we're going to move back a little further. Okay, our rear tire is a bud wheel. Bud wheel is evenly spaced, it has no spacer. The tread on the back tire can be no less than 2/32, evenly worn all the way across. Face of the tire has no abrasions, bulges, or cuts. The rim has no welds other than factory. The lug nuts are all in place. All of them are in place and tight. If one was loose, we might see a shiny pattern or a rust trail. The axle seal, all the bolts are in place and tight. And it's not leaking. If it was leaking, we'd see a spray pattern. This is my valve stem. Valve stem is inner and outer, straight centered, has a metal cap, and the valve stem is not leaking. And I were to check the tire pressure, I'd use a tire pressure gauge. Okay. Mud flap in place, bolted securely, not cracked or broken, loose or missing. And let's see, I've got my front and rear spring mounts. They are bolted and mounted securely, not cracked or broken, loose or missing. My torque leaf and spring leaf are right here, not cracked or broken, loose or missing, with the bolt bushings in place. This is my brake chamber. My brake chamber is clamped securely. It's not leaking. My brake chamber has got the ABS line and brake line attached securely. They are not kinked or leaking. Okay. My U-bolts are further back, harder to see back here. They're not cracked or broken, loose or missing, bolted and mounted securely. My push rod and slack adjuster are bolted and mounted securely, not cracked or broken, loose or missing. And if I were to chock the wheel, no, sorry, it would not move more than an inch if I tugged on it. This right here is my airbags. It's got top and bottom air mounts. It's bolted securely, not cracked or broken, loose or missing. It's not leaking. Okay, let's see if I can see something better back here. This is my battery box. Battery box has 3 batteries. All the connections are made. There's no excessive corrosion, and the shelf and pin are in place. Box in place. Okay. Reflectors, reflective tape are the proper color, red. Reflectors in back. Back here, red clearance lights, amber warning lights, red loading lights, red breakup lights, red tail lights, clear backup lights, amber turn signals, and hazard lights. They are the proper color, not cracked, broken, or damaged, no loose or missing parts, red reflectors. And the tape is all in place as well. I can't reach it. I'd open it, lights, so I'll show you from the inside. Okay, this is my engine compartment. Okay, I have my alternator. My alternator is belt driven. It is bolted and mounted securely, not cracked or broken, loose or missing. The copper wiring is in place, not frayed. The belt itself, if I push on it, will not deflect more than a ½ inch. Here is my water pump. My water pump is also belt driven, and it's not cracked or broken, loose or missing, and it's not leaking. Okay, I'm going to take a look at my oil dipstick. I would pull it out, wipe it off, reinsert it, take it back out again, and it should read between add and full. This is my power steering reservoir. Power steering reservoir has the cap in place. It's adequately filled between add and full. If I follow the hoses down, I can see that my power steering pump, which is gear driven, is bolted and mounted securely, not cracked, broken, or damaged, no loose or missing parts, and it is not leaking. Right behind that is my air compressor. My air compressor is also gear driven. It's not cracked or broken, loose or missing, and it is not leaking, and it is gear driven. Okay. Oh, I have my coolant reservoir. My coolant reservoir is bolted and mounted securely, not cracked or broken, loose or missing. The hoses are all connected properly, and they are not kinked or leaking. And you can see that the level in the sight glass is adequate. Okay, moving over to this side, I'll show you a few more parts under the bus. Okay, from this access panel. All right, so over here, well, we have our exhaust system right here. It's not cracked or damaged, loose or missing, and it's bolted and mounted securely. If there was a soot pattern, that would indicate a hole. Or if we had the bus running, I would listen for excessive noise. I also have my drive shaft. My drive shaft is right here. It's not cracked or broken, loose or missing. Turbocharger. See. Here's a better way to see my frame and cross members. It's right there. Much easier to see. I would check this side of the bus as I did on the other side. In addition, though, I would check my DEF tank. It's the neck, cap, and cage are all in place, not cracked or broken, loose or missing. And I would also check the latches on my storage containers and my side emergency door. It locks into place, buzzer and lights come on, and when I close it up, all goes off. Again, these are all the proper color, as I mentioned on the other side, amber. My stop sign has the red lenses, and you'll see momentarily that it's working. Sticker is also on this side as well. This is my windshield washer fluid reservoir. This is my circuit breaker box on the bus. It has no extra fuses. Okay. Let's look inside. Okay. All right. This is my first aid kit. It's got 24 dry box bandages, proof of insurance, and 3 emergency contacts. This is my body fluid cleanup kit. It's fully stocked. This is my fire extinguisher, 5 pounds, rated, dated, and charged, and it is in the it's in the green. Okay. I have, whoops, did I miss something? No. Okay. I have my my reflective triangles here, and my 6 fusees right there. Okay. Excuse me, Mr. Dave, could you hit that switch for me?
Got it.
Thank you very much. Okay, my windshield is in place, not cracked or broken, loose or missing, no decals or stickers. My mirrors are all adjusted for me. My student mirror is bolted and mounted securely. I can see the top of the first seat and all the way to the back. Again, all my mirrors are adjusted for me. At this time, I'm going to do a safe start. safe start means that my bus is in neutral. I'm covering the brake. When I put the bus into accessory, the ABS light goes on and promptly goes off. Okay, and I start it up. I'm going to turn on my lights on so all of my gauges light up, and I'm going to go through all my gauges. This is my front and rear air tanks. They're going to sit between 120 and 125, and at 125 the governor will cut out, and you'll know that when you hear the pch sound. Okay, my transmission will build to approximately 200. My fuel tank is at half. It got ample fuel for the trip. My voltmeter will sit between 12 and 14. My speedometer, tachometer, odometer, my water temperature gauge will rise to about 190, and my oil pressure gauge will sit between 40 and 60. Okay, my horn. The gears operate smoothly. Parking brake, my radio. This is my fans, heaters, defrosters, step well. This is my left and right fan. This is my DEF gauge, and I've got plenty of DEF in there. This is my windshield wiper and washer. My panel lighter dimmer switch, my headlamps. This is my amber warning light. Okay, that's the light. This is my override for my loading lights. The stop sign comes out. Okay, this is my door. It's functioning properly, and the step light comes on. Okay, I'm going to turn on my noise makers. This is my noise suspension button. It's working properly. Okay, this is my, still I have midship heater and rear heaters. You can hear those. This is my driver dome and passenger dome. Lights are functioning properly. This is my DVR button and left turn signal, right turn signal, hazard lights, indicators, high beam indicator right there. And now my seat belt is right here. Latches securely, not twisted or frayed. Latches properly. Okay, I'm going to do a series of brake tests. The first one that I'm going to do, I'm going to test my parking brake. So I'm going to put the bus into drive, and I'm going to push on the accelerator, and we're not moving. So that means that it's holding. Now I'm going to put the bus in gear, release the parking brake, and test the service brake. We're going to go forward approximately 5 miles an hour, and I'm going to apply the service brake, and we're not pulling to the left or to the right, and we stop smoothly. Now I'm going to put the bus back into neutral, keep the parking brake off, and the key I'm going to turn off and put back into accessory with no pressure on the brake. I'm not going to see this gauge move more than 2 psi in a minute. Would you like to time that?
No, proceed.
Okay. Now I'm going to apply heavy pressure to the brake. After the initial drop, it's not going to move more than 3 psi in a minute. Would you like to time that?
No, proceed.
Okay. And now I'm going to fan the brakes. Above 55, the light and buzzer will sound like that, and between 20 and 40, my parking brake will set itself. Like that. So all of the emergency features are working properly. I'm going to restart the bus. It's in neutral, parking brake is set. ABS light went on and promptly went out. Okay, I'm going to show you the inside cabin, the rest of it. Okay. Oh, here's my strobe light, and I'll show you that it's working in a moment. Heated mirrors. Okay. All of my seat is bolted and mounted securely. It's not cracked or broken, loose or missing. All of my seat frames are bolted and mounted securely to the floor, and my seat cushions are bolted and are securely attached to the frames. And I'm going to tug up on each one of them to check that. I'm going to stop here and look at one of my emergency windows. I open it up. Opens freely, lights and buzzer come on and go off when I close it. I would check the other 3 windows the same way I checked that. I'm going to continue checking my seats. I'm going to check my emergency side exit. Opens freely, lights come on, the buzzer sounds. I'm going to continue checking my seats. In back, I'm going to check the rear emergency exit. Oh boy. Okay, this is fun. Lights come on, buzzer sounds. That was fun. Okay, now I'm going to check the roof hatch. Back. Lights come on, buzzer sounds. I would check the other roof hatch the same way I checked this one, and all the windows as well. I'm going to continue checking my seat backs to make sure they are securely bolted and mounted, not cracked or broken, loose or missing. At this time, I would like you to check all of my lights outside. Can you do that for me, please?
I can do that. I need you to shut the bus off, put back in accessory, and then operate the lights.
I can do. You want my window
open? Tell me out the window what
Okay.
you're operating.
All right, we'll do that. Whoops. Left indicator, right indicator, hazard lights, high beam headlight, headlights, amber warning lights, override lights, left turn signal, and clearance lights all the way around. Left turn signal, right turn signal, hazard lights, brake lights, tail lights, reverse light, warning lights, loading lights, right turn signal, hazard lights, step lights out and in.
Okay, Therese, very good. You passed your pre-trip. There's about 25 minutes. You still have approximately 5 more minutes. If you want to add some more items, you can.
Okay, let me think. Wow, 5 minutes. I know I must have missed something then. Well, I can't think of anything, so I'm done.
Well, you missed the entire steering system.
Ooh.
Which
Ooh,
up front,
I did.
that entails the steering shaft, the gearbox, the hoses, the pitman arm, the drag link, and the tie rod. So
okay.
so that you missed that system. Also in the engine compartment, you missed generally looking over. There was no leaks or frayed wires in the engine compartment. But technically you passed.
Okay.
So, but that is
How
something
many
to
items
know.
did I miss?
So you missed a total of 8.
Okay.
Which is passable.
Okay.
So we're going to move on to our maneuvers.
Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, just so you have a visual on what I missed, I'm going to go out and show you where it's located. Not very easy to see, but if you look all the way up front, you can see the gearbox and the hoses attached to the gearbox. We also have our pitman arm and our drag link. And right across here is the tie rod, all the way across the tie rod. And we have to go to the back so I can show you the torsion bar. You're not going to actually see the torsion bar, but I'll show you kind of where it's located. The torsion bar is up through here, and you can't see it. The torsion bar actually helps to prevent the bus from swaying.
Let's review the items missed during the pre-trip inspection. The gearbox, pitman arm, drag link, tie rod, the brake linings and drums on the rear axle, the torsion bar, the wiring in the engine compartment, and also make sure to check that there's no debris between your rear duals. Keep in mind you have 30 minutes to complete your pre-trip. If you discover that you missed an item and you have time to point it out to your examiner, you can do it at any time during those 30 minutes. If you like this video, please remember to subscribe to my channel, like, and share. Thanks for watching.